was really excited. I was on the phone with the recruiter. I tried to keep a straight face, but immediately, immediately I got off the phone, I was just jumping for joy, man. It was
Hello guys, welcome to Kweku Tech. If today is your first time here, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button and the notification icon below. Today I have with me Hector here, who will be telling us his journey through software engineering. Welcome Hector.
thank you, Justice.
Can you tell us about yourself, like what
Oh,
you do?
sure. So I'm a software engineer. Um, I mainly deal with basic software engineering, a bit of data analysis, and also machine learning. I'm I've been a software engineer in Ghana for about 4 years. I've moved between different companies. I'm currently working at Google Ghana as a research um, software engineer, just doing a lot of machine learning in projects just to um, help the planet, help deal with natural disasters, help reduce greenhouse gas emissions, things like that.
Okay, talking about Google, let's pause over there. Let's go back to your background. Like, where do you come from?
So I come from Princess Town, in the western region. Yeah. Um, I've only been there once, but
Ah,
I stayed in Accra most of my life. I was born here in Accra. Um, yeah, I stayed with my grandfather and mother for a while, but then we moved out. So I've mainly lived my most of my life with my mother and my sister in Accra here. Went to school here all my life. Yeah, just Accra.
oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
So, can you take us through your educational background, like where you started your primary school from?
Okay. So I went to primary school in Morning Glory. It's a Montessori school in Teshi, and I did my whole primary school there, and then I went to Achimota Senior
Oh
Secondary
wow,
School. Yeah,
I was student of Ajuma.
yeah. I'm an Accra of Achimota. I went to Motown. I did science there, and then I went to Ashesi University and did computer science over there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So growing up, what did you wanted to become?
Oh, many many different things. So I like watching TV a lot. So for a while, I wanted to be an actor, and then I started playing a lot of games. So I wanted to be either a game developer or just a game tester or something. So a lot of the things that I was really interested in, those are the things I wanted to do. And then later on in life, when I started playing around more with computers, then I started thinking, yeah, maybe I want to work with computers. I want to be a computer scientist. I didn't know what programming was, but I knew I wanted to, be involved in making computers and making the applications that I used.
So should we say gaming motivated you to become a computer software engineer?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You coming along the way, do you have someone who taught you programming or how? At which stage did you begin to program?
So for most of my life, up until secondary school, I hadn't done any programming, and then right before university, I went for a summer camp at Ashesi. It's called AIX, Ashesi Innovation Experience, and they do like a 2 week thing where you learn about critical thinking and leadership, but then the second week you do robotics, right?
Oh,
So you play around with those Lego robots, Lego EV3. It's a nice type of robot that you can write code for, and then it will move forward, move back. You
oh,
can
okay.
attach like hands to it, so you can make it pick up things. It's
Oh,
really interesting. So I went for that program, and that was the first time that I experienced any sort of coding. So you wrote code to program the robot to move and run around obstacles and things. It was very interesting.
wow, that's nice. So
Yeah.
what were your challenges when getting into the software engineering?
Oh, so it's been very smooth for me. I think a lot of people just tell me that I just took to code very well, um, but I think more recently trying to get more into machine learning. It's a lot of math as well as programming, right? So even if the programming side comes easy to me, the math, I love math, but it doesn't come as easy to
Oh
me.
wow.
Yeah, so I think going into machine learning has been one of the hardest parts for me, just reconciling the like the relationship between a lot of mathematical concepts and then a lot of programming concepts and using them together.
Oh, okay. So how do you do when not coding? Like at your leisure time?
Well, so like I mentioned before, I play games.
Oh,
I like reading a lot. Uh, I read both novels and every now and then just some articles around machine learning. Advancements in the field. I also um, like to do puzzles. So
mhm.
it's kind of games, but like things like Sudoku and Rubik's
Yeah.
cubes, like just things that are games, but also challenge your mind a bit. Yeah.
So now let's come back to Google again. How did you get into Google?
Oh well, um, I was approached by a recruiter, and he said that um, Google was recruiting in Ghana, and was wondering if I would like to apply because he had looked into my background and he had seen a bit of the statistics I had done in school as a teaching assistant. I was also a teaching assistant
Oh,
as
okay.
a Chessy.
Wow.
And yeah, so combining the statistics with the programming I've been doing, um, yeah, he thought I would be a good candidate for Google. So I went through their interview process. It was a very it was fairly hard. But like if you have very strong software engineering basics, you should be able to go through it.
So how
Yeah.
did you feel when you were offered the job?
Oh, I was really excited. I was on the phone with the recruiter. I tried to keep a straight face, but immediately I got off the phone, I was just jumping for joy, man. It was really excited. I've wanted to work with Google for a long time.
Oh, so it's your dream come true, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So what are some of the things you do at Google, like your daily tasks that are good?
Um. Right. So I'm currently working on a project. Like I said, a lot of our projects in the team that I'm in, they have to do with machine learning and using it to kind of predict and counteract natural disasters. So things like floods and wildfires. That's what my team works with, and so um, it's mainly two things that the software engineer and the team does. We work on the infrastructure for collecting the data, cleaning the data, and then feeding the data into the machine learning models. And then we also work on the machine learning models as well. So um, figuring out the best machine learning model that would be able to use the data we have available to um, create some effective change in the area that we are looking at. So if you are dealing with floods, what kind of model would accurately predict flood levels, both the depth and both how soon floods will happen, when they will occur, things like that, so that we can help the people on the ground that go through all of these natural disasters be ready for it and be more prepared for it, basically.
Then you are really
Yeah,
doing a lot at Google there.
yeah, it's really
So which
interesting.
programming language do you use you yourself not?
We so me personally, I mainly use Python. A lot of machine learning modules are developed in Python, so it's really the ideal language um for machine learning, but also for the data analysis parts. There's things like pandas and NumPy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just using modules like that to read through the data, to process the data and feed them in to the machine learning models. And sometimes I use R. R is a statistical data analysis language. So that's also something that I use from time to time. Those are the two main languages, and the few times that you have to do some UI work in my team, I'm mainly focused on just the backend
And
models and
oh, okay.
processing. But sometimes you want to visualize all of this information that you're gathering, and so sometimes there's a bit of UI work, and it can be there's some internal Google UI tools that you can use, but there's also just regular Angular sometimes,
Oh,
or
okay.
React. Yeah.
So can anyone come to Google, or it's because looking at your portfolio, I see that most of the people being recruited here in Ghana are PhD holders and senior developers.
Right.
So are you a PhD holder or
Oh no, I just have the one degree, just a regular undergrad. So ideally, right, especially in the field of machine learning, if you're a PhD holder or even a master's holder, you're more equipped to go into machine learning full time because it's a lot of research, right? So having a master's, having a PhD, it shows that you're able to do research. Um, but besides that, right, they also just need good programmers,
oh
right?
okay.
Because apart from coming up with the machine learning models, there's also all the implementation,
Okay.
right? So I think that's where my strengths came into play. Because I also have a background in statistics, that also means that I'm not completely clueless about the machine learning aspect,
Okay.
right? But like if you're a good programmer and you can demonstrate that, oh yes, I know about data processing, I know how to handle data, I know about the basics for machine learning, and I'm just also eager to learn, eager to grow. Yeah, I think anyone with those kind of characteristics can get into Google.
But the interview is very tough, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
um
So I'm done with your Google and all those stuff. If you are to recommend a programming language to someone who is getting into tech or someone who is getting into programming, which programming languages will you recommend to those kind of people?
Right. Well, I think it depends on what field of tech they're going into, right? So it depends on both what you are passionate about and what you are good at. Usually they'll end up being the same thing, right? But if you are a more front-facing person who's more into designing things, more into UI things, then you can learn a lot of JavaScript because a lot of JavaScript frameworks are used for UI. So things like React and Angular and Vue, right? Those are the emerging languages that you would use for UI. But if you're into how systems work, into building things up from the ground, building the machinery behind things, so you're more of a back end person, I feel like Python would be a really simple place to start because syntactically Python is really close to
Mm,
English, and it makes it really easy for you to transfer like your basic knowledge into code. Yeah.
okay. Talking about program tech again, is it only programming that is the aspect being more focused in tech? Because most people when they think about tech, all they think about is programming, programming, programming.
Right.
Is it tech? Is tech all about programming, or there are other spaces where people can venture into and
There are lots of other spaces. Even within companies that focus on programming, there are project managers, right? Project and program managers who have to um, design the projects on a higher level, like know what product that you're coming up with, and how it's going to be beneficial to whoever your stakeholders are, whoever you're making the product for. So the people who are able to come up with all of that, they're also in tech, right? Because they have to know the technical requirements that this product we want to create needs, right? So that's also a tech job, being a project manager, a program manager. And then there's also more hardware facing things. So like people who design the physical systems that we use, people
okay.
who design
UI
computers,
UX?
like yeah, hardware, even just so there's design, right? There's front facing design like UI UX, like you mentioned, and then there's also hardware manufacturers and designers. So the people who design the processing chips and CPUs and GPUs,
Yeah.
all of that is part of tech. It's all really important part of tech.
Thank you very much for your
Welcome.
time. Your last words for our audience before you leave.
Oh, I guess just if you are interested in tech, like this era is just really a good time to get into technology. And if you're not interested in tech but interested in something else, technology is in everything. If you're interested in health, there's tech in health. If you're interested in agriculture, there's tech in agriculture. So it's just a really good place to look at. So yeah, just pursue technology.
Okay. Can you put out your social media handles? for anyone who want to get
Uh,
into contact with you, if
um, yeah,
you
sure.
are willing to.
Yeah, I don't think I know them offhand, but it's just I think Hector Amwa,
Okay.
full Hector Amwa at
Yeah.
yeah at Hector Amwa on Twitter and Instagram. I don't use Facebook that much, but I'm also on Facebook, Hector Amwa. And LinkedIn as well, Hector Amwa.
So
Yeah,
where can they get you? Like, where are you more?
probably maybe it depends on what they want me for, but maybe just to talk, maybe Twitter or Instagram.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. Hope to see you another time. Thank you. Please, thank you for watching this episode with Hector, a researcher at Google Ghana. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. Peace.